guys, my name is Morgan Johnson, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to steep tea, how to make loose leaf tea. Tea is one of the most consumed drinks in the world, and I feel like we don't even know how to steep it or make it properly. So I wanted to go ahead and demonstrate it and talk about the different benefits and the different types of teas that are within the whole world. So I'm going to demonstrate that. This is my favorite steeper. There are many different types of steepers. This one's just my favorite because it's like a spoon, so I can scoop the tea. And it holds about 1 teaspoon, which is the recommended per 8 ounces of hot water. So I'm going to go ahead and steep that and add my hot water. The tea I'm making right now is a black tea with a mate tea. So this steeps for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start that and finish talking. So I worked in a tea shop for about 4 years, and I just learned so much about the different types of teas, and I just learned so much about tea that I had no idea. I didn't even drink tea, and now that's all I ever drink is tea. So by the end of my speech, I really want you to learn more about tea and the proper way to steep it and just the benefits. There's just so much to learn about tea. So there are about 10 different types of tea. We have herbal tea, honeybush tea, rooibos tea, white tea, green tea, oolongs, pu'er teas, mate teas, and black teas, which I'm making right now, and matcha, which isn't loose leaf, but it's still a powdery green substance. So, and it's still considered to be tea. So those are the main teas. So I wanted to talk about their caffeine content. So I want to talk about lowest to highest. So herbal teas, honeybush teas, and rooibos teas are going to be caffeine free, which is good for nighttime teas, like right before bed. And then white teas are going to be very low in caffeine. So those ones are good just midday if you just want some tea. So green teas are going to be a moderate amount. Pu'er oolongs are a moderate amount, which are good for maybe in the morning. And black teas, mate teas, and matcha teas are going to be the highest. Matcha actually has the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. So, but it doesn't really give you the jitters and the like crash afterwards. So I feel like that is really helpful, like for a long day, just so you don't have to keep drinking coffee. You can just drink 1 cup of matcha tea and be good. And so there's just so many different types of teas, but they all require different procedures into making them, which can help, like, it helps make it not so bitter, or because you can burn the leaves. Herbal teas and honeybush and rooibos teas, the caffeine-free teas, they don't really require, you can boil water and pour it over them. They're not as fragile as some of the leaves. And they require 5 to 10 minutes. And then a white tea is very fragile. So it recommends to do 170 degrees Fahrenheit, just so you don't burn the leaves and so your tea doesn't taste bitter. And then for your green teas as well, those can be a little bit delicate, so you don't want to burn those leaves. So those require 170 degrees Fahrenheit and about 2 minutes, just because green teas can be very strong, so it doesn't take as much time to steep them. There's our timer. There's our tea. Let that cool down. Pu'er teas require 195 degrees Fahrenheit and about 3 to 4 minutes. Oolong teas, 180 degrees to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, and 3 to 4 minutes. Mate and black teas are very similar. They're darker teas. They're going to show more color, and so they require about 3 to 4 minutes of steeping. And mate teas can require 160 degrees Fahrenheit, rather than black teas, which can be boiled and poured over. With white teas and like the lower Fahrenheit, the lower temperature teas, you can boil your water and then let it sit for about a minute and then pour it over, just so you guarantee that your leaves won't burn. And matcha tea requires 175 degrees, which is about the same. Just boil your water and let it sit. And since it is in the loose leaf tea, you just I'd let it sit for about 3 minutes and then mix it in, and then I think it's ready to drink. Just make sure it's not too hot. As you can see, there are just so many different types of teas, and but that's just the start. Like, there's so many different flavors within the different types of teas. It just depends on your liking, and they all have their own benefits. Each tea has their own benefits. Herbal teas contain antioxidants, vitamins from the different fruits, like dried fruits, like dried oranges, vitamin C, and like lemongrass and like peppermint will help with like stomach pain or even cramps. Those are really good for cramps. Honeybush tea boosts metabolism, which is really good for weight loss, and relieves asthma, which is really important to me just because I've grown up with asthma my whole life, and it's just nice to, if having like a rough day, like hard time breathing, just to drink some honeybush tea and just relax a little bit. And rooibos tea improves blood pressure and cholesterol, which is very important if your blood pressure is a little high and you just need to calm down and get it lower. So just drink a cup a day and it'll help you. And white tea and many of the other teas have been known to have cancer fighting. They've known to help fight cancer and reduce the risk of heart disease, which is very important. I think cancer and heart problems is one of the main death tolls on people or humans nowadays, so I feel like those are very important. And green tea can improve your brain function and lower the risk of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, which I feel like many people have that within their family, so it's kind of a scary thing. So just by drinking green tea can help reduce that. So pure teas protect bone health and reduce stress, which everyone being in college has a little bit of stress, so it can help a little bit with that. Oolong teas may help relieve eczema and help lose weight, so that's kind of important. Just eczema, I know I get a little bit on my arms, so just drinking some oolong tea can help relieve that. Yerba mate tea boosts energy and improves mental focus. So I feel like this tea would be really good right before like a big test or something, or even drinking while you're studying, just to like remember each of these things. And then black tea improves your gut health and reduce the risk of stroke, which stroke is kind of a scary thing. So just by drinking some black tea, which it also is very high in caffeine, like I said, and so it helps wake you up. Matcha tea gives you the energy without the jitters and the aftermath of a crash, and it also gives you almost all of the other benefits each of those other teas give you, so it's like all of the teas in one. So I feel like that's kind of nice, not having to drink all of these different teas. You can just drink one, which has the most benefits, and it can wake you up without giving you jitters and a crash at the end. So it's clear to see that there are just so many different types of teas, and they all have their own regimen to make the tea perfect. So today, the different types of teas, it's just so important to steep them and make sure the temperature is just right, just so you don't burn them and stuff. So I hope you guys learned some stuff about tea, and I'm going to add some honey to my tea because that's how I like it. And no, I'm not.